Hello, and welcome to Hearing Loss 101 presented by the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, Newfoundland and Labrador. My name is Ashley, and today I will be giving you an introduction to hearing loss. Communication is an essential part of everyday living. We use communication to express our needs, build relationships, and our hearing helps us know what is going on around us. Hearing loss poses large barriers to this. That is why it is important for everyone to understand what hearing loss is, as well as the challenges an individual with hearing loss may face, as it will greatly reduce barriers in our communities. So, what is hearing loss? The most general definition of hearing loss is when a person is not able to hear all sounds and frequencies that are a part of everyday life and communication with others. Hearing loss is invisible, and because many losses occur gradually over a longer period of time, many people do not realize they have a hearing loss until a loved one picks up on the signs. We will get into the signs of hearing loss later on in this presentation. On your screen, you will see a diagram of the ear. As you can see, the hearing system is very complex and hearing loss can occur in many places within the ear. Three common forms of hearing loss are conductive, which occurs in the outer and middle ear, sensorineural, which occurs in the inner ear, and mixed, which is a combination of both. Depending on the type of hearing loss a person has, there are different avenues that can be taken to alleviate concerns as well as to treat the hearing loss. If a person has a conductive loss, there may be some way to regain hearing with treatment. For those with a sensorineural loss, the hearing loss is usually permanent. It is important to speak to a hearing health care professional to determine what is the best course of action for every individual's hearing health journey. Now it's time for a quiz. Which of the following is a common sign that a person may have hearing loss? Is it A, difficulty following along with a conversation, B, turning head towards sounds to hear them, C, difficulty hearing certain sounds, or D, all of the above? I'll give you a few seconds to think about your answer. The answer is D, all of the above. There are many telltale signs that a person may be experiencing hearing loss, including difficulty following along with a conversation, especially when there is background noise or at a distance, feeling as though everyone is mumbling, turning head towards sounds to hear them, difficulty hearing a child's voice, the doorbell, a fire alarm, or a phone ringing, and others complaining that the TV, video, or music is playing at too loud of a volume. These are just some of the signs, and there may be others that we have not listed here. Hearing loss statistics in Canada. According to the Canadian Health Measures Survey, an estimated 54% of Canadians ages 40 to 79 have at least a mild hearing loss. Men are more likely than women to have hearing loss, with 63% of men versus 46% of women. Of those with a measured amount of hearing loss, 77% of these individuals did not know that they had hearing loss. In this survey, those with mild hearing loss were more likely to overlook their hearing challenges. On average, a person will have hearing loss for 7 years before opting to have their hearing checked by a professional. With the increasingly noisy world around us, as well as a rising aging population, this statistic is expected to rise. It is important to make your hearing health a priority and be aware of the options that are available to help yourself or others when it comes to hearing loss. By doing so, you are able to prepare yourself for if hearing loss has any impact on your future. Now it's time for another quiz. True or false? Hearing loss can increase your risk of cognitive decline, such as dementia. Is this true or false? I'll give you a few seconds to think about your answer. This is true. Hearing loss can increase your risk of cognitive decline, such as dementia. There are many long-term risks of untreated hearing loss. Some of these include cognitive decline, such as dementia, hypertension, depression, difficulties with mobility and balance, as well as social isolation. Those with untreated hearing loss are more likely to develop problems with thinking and remembering. Studies from Johns Hopkins University have revealed that various forms of cognitive decline can be related to hearing loss. In their most recent study, they found that mild hearing loss doubled dementia risk, moderate loss tripled the risk, and people with a severe hearing loss were 5 times more likely to develop dementia. The next things I will touch on are depression and social isolation. Depression and social isolation are very common in individuals who have untreated hearing loss. If an individual is struggling to follow along with everyday conversation, they may begin to isolate from their friends and family, feel anxious about attending loud social events, and they may stop doing things they enjoy due to their hearing loss. Feelings of loneliness and social isolation are also common among persons with untreated hearing loss due to the same reasons. When a person has hearing loss, it can also have a huge impact on their confidence. Not being able to clearly understand speech and other sounds can be embarrassing, as it may require the person to ask someone to repeat themselves multiple times to make out what is being said. This can lead to individuals withdrawing and keeping to themselves, causing further social isolation as a result. Through the social isolation caused by hearing loss, individuals may also feel angry, anxious, or depressed. Managing hearing loss through ways that work with the individual's lifestyle can help them reconnect with loved ones and feel more confident or in control of their lives. True or false? Hearing loss sounds the same for everyone. Is this true or false? I'll give you a few seconds to think about your answer. This is false. Hearing loss does not sound the same for everyone. Hearing loss sounds different depending on the type and degree of hearing loss a person has. We use our ears and brain to hear, So having hearing loss sounds like you are playing a guessing game where you must fill in the blanks of missing syllables or sounds to find an answer. On the left of your screen, there is an image created by one of our amazing volunteers that says hearing loss looks like this. As you may be able to see, some of the letters are not clear, and that shows how somebody with hearing loss has to fill in the blanks. The next few slides feature a hearing loss simulation by Starkey. In these simulations, you will hear what different situations sound like based on the degree of hearing a person has. The situations used will include everyday conversations and while in a restaurant. Please keep in mind that these are only simulations. Not every hearing loss will sound this way, as it is very individual. These simulations aim to give you an idea of what a conversation could sound like to a person with hearing loss. There are many hearing loss simulations out there. However, this simulation gives a great look into many different environments and how they can have an impact on the way a person with hearing loss can understand the conversation. If you are interested in listening to some of their other simulations, please visit the Starkey website. The link to their website will be in the video description.
Hi, Hadley. How's it going?
Good, Grandpa.
What'd you do in school today?
Well, one main thing was that media got canceled, so our class got to either write or draw something.
And what did you write or draw?
Well, I wrote something, and I call it the random fact of the day. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to.
Random fact of the day. Did you know that if you dug a hole from one side of the earth to the other and you jumped through it, you would go to the other side immediately?
So that was a glimpse into hearing in everyday conversations. Next, we will show a video titled Hearing While in a Restaurant.
So guess who I ran into from high school the other day?
Who?
Janice Thompson.
No.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ladies.
Hi.
How's everything going?
Good, thank you.
Good tuna milk, good?
Oh, so good.
Oh, here, I'll take
We hope you found these hearing loss simulations helpful to understand what hearing loss may sound like. Again, if you are interested in looking at some of the other hearing loss simulations, there are many out there. The link to the Starkey simulation will be in the video description. Hearing challenges may be overlooked because they are invisible. Just because you may not be able to see a hearing challenge doesn't mean that it isn't there or that it is not being noticed by others around you. Persons with mild hearing loss are more likely to overlook their hearing challenges. Studies through Johns Hopkins University have found that hearing aid users wait on average 10 years before getting help for their hearing loss. During that time, communication with their loved ones becomes more difficult, and isolation as well as health risks can increase. It is important to make your hearing health a priority so that you can be equipped with the right tools to manage hearing loss and its symptoms, as hearing loss most often begins at a mild stage. It's time for another quiz. True or false? All hearing loss is the same, and hearing aids are the only option to help. Is this true or false? I'll give you a moment to think about your answer. This is false. Our hearing is unique. Characteristics such as the type and degree of hearing loss, as well as the cause of a person's hearing loss, will impact the way the world around them sounds. Personalities, attitudes, priorities, lifestyles, ability to cope, age, support system, daily activities, and more will also have an impact on the way a person deals with the daily challenges that come with having a hearing loss. There are many different ways a person may choose to identify when it comes to their hearing loss, and it is important to ask what they prefer. In Newfoundland and Labrador, the most common terms are hard of hearing, hearing loss, and deaf. Identity comes down to preference, as it is a means of self-expression. There are two major types of language when it comes to identity: person first and disability first. An example of the difference between these two types of languages would be, "Hi, my name is Ashley and I have a hearing loss," versus, "Hi, I have a hearing loss and my name is Ashley." Person first language is the most commonly used in Newfoundland and Labrador. Individuals who experience hearing challenges may use different modes of communication. Based on their preferences, they may prefer oral language, American Sign Language, or a combination. Always ask for the person's preference if you do not know. Along with these main communication methods, some individuals may rely on speech reading, hearing assistive technology, or speech to text apps as part of their communication methods. It is important to be mindful of these methods and be open to using them if it has been requested by the person who has hearing loss. Sign language is another communication tool used by people with hearing loss. Typically, it is used by people who identify as deaf, and they may have family or friends in their life that also know sign language so that they can communicate with them. The Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, Newfoundland and Labrador, does not offer sign language classes, as our mandate is to serve those with hearing loss who are oral communicators, which is why we teach speech reading classes instead of sign language. If you are interested in sign language classes, the Newfoundland and Labrador Association of the Deaf is an excellent local resource. There are also many resources online about American Sign Language. Typically, places where there are many people present a challenge to those with hearing loss, as it is often difficult for them to follow along due to background noise or other distractions in the environment. Places with lots of background noise or where the acoustics are not very good, with echoing of sound, such as an arena, on public transportation, or in a place of worship. Often, the farther away a person is from the speaker, the more difficult it is for a person with hearing loss to understand what is being said. It can also be difficult for a person to lip read from a distance, and this may make them unable to fill in the blanks of communication. Finally, plexiglass or other objects such as a mask may obscure a person's face and muffle their voice, making it difficult for a person with hearing loss to follow along with the conversation. Now it's time for another quiz. Which of the following is a common reaction someone may have while they are in a difficult listening environment? Is it A, leaving or not attending gatherings, B, turning off assistive devices, C, feeling excited about hearing so many sounds, or D, all of the above? I will give you a few seconds to think about your answer. The answer to this is A, leaving or not attending gatherings. Common responses to difficult listening environments include feeling as though a person is being left out, bluffing or pretending to have heard what has been said even if they have not, relying on others for filling them in on conversations, feeling angry or frustrated, as well as leaving or not attending gatherings. Of course, all of these reactions are very individual to what the person is experiencing. Keep an eye out for reactions that yourself or others may have when they are experiencing hearing challenges and be knowledgeable about things that can help improve the situation. Here are some things that can help. Hearing technologies such as amplified listening devices can amplify sounds and make speech clearer. Learning to speech or lip read can help fill in the blanks of sounds that are difficult to hear and make speech easier to understand. Hearing or healthcare professionals such as family doctors, ENTs, and audiologists can help to develop a treatment plan for managing a person's hearing loss. Hearing loss support specialists such as those at the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, Newfoundland and Labrador are able to provide support and guidance during your hearing health journey. They are a great resource for learning about hearing technology or how to help yourself or a loved one adapt to the realities of hearing loss. Finally, practicing effective communication can help. After all, communication is a two-way street. What is hearing assistive technology? Hearing assistive technology is designed to help individuals with hearing loss hear in a variety of situations, be notified of a sound they cannot hear, or allow them to read words that have been spoken. Examples of them include personal amplification devices, amplified telephones, signaling systems, closed captioning, speech-to-text apps, and much more. There is hearing assistive technology available to suit every lifestyle and preference. If you are interested in learning more about or trying some technology, CHA&L has a free provincial blending program in Newfoundland and Labrador. Please contact us for more information. There are many different types of amplified listening devices. However, the two most common types are pocket talker, which amplifies speech and improves clarity in situations such as when watching television and during everyday conversation, as well as amplified telephones. We have different decibel options available to improve understanding of speech during telephone conversations. Both of these devices can be used with or without hearing aids, and no prescription is required to access them. These types of technology are available in our free provincial lending program. Speech to text and transcribing apps. These apps turn spoken word into text, allowing an individual to read along with what is being said. This is especially common when someone is in a noisy environment or where it may be hard to hear the other person, such as in a restaurant or in a coffee shop. Common apps in 2022 include Ava for iPhone and Live Transcribe for Android devices. Otter.ai is another app that is used by many people with hearing loss to help fill in the blanks of everyday conversation. These are some examples of hearing technology that can be prescribed by a hearing care professional. One of the most commonly seen technologies in Canada is the hearing aid. Hearing aids do not require surgery to implant. However, both the bone-anchored hearing aid and cochlear implant devices do. On the left, there is an image of a man wearing a hearing aid. In the middle, there is a woman wearing a bone-anchored hearing aid, which is a tiny implantable device right behind her ear. And finally, on the right-hand side, there is an image of a woman wearing a cochlear implant. Now let's get into some myths about hearing technology. First, hearing aids, cochlear implants, and other hearing technology will not fix or cure a person's hearing loss. However, they will greatly help a person communicate and participate in everyday life. Secondly, hearing aids, cochlear implants, and other hearing technology are not one size fits all. Hearing technology is prescribed based on characteristics of a person's hearing, as well as their lifestyles and their needs. Hearing aids are not like glasses, which can temporarily correct the person's vision while in use. When wearing hearing aids, a person will increase clarity in what they hear, but not to the level they would experience if their hearing was in a normal range. They will still have difficulty understanding some speech sounds, and they will be challenged by difficult listening environments. Potential funding resources for prescribed hearing technology in Newfoundland and Labrador include the Provincial Hearing Aid Program, private insurance policies, Workplace NL, Health Canada, the Non-Insured Health Benefits Program, as well as Veterans Affairs. Now it's time for another quiz. True or false? Lip reading is only used by people who have hearing loss. Is this true or false? This is false. Speech reading is a tool that can help you communicate better in challenging listening environments and improve your overall communication skills. It involves using all the visual and contextual cues at your disposal to understand what is being said. This includes the study of lip movements, facial expressions, body actions, and characteristics of a conversation. Speech reading is an empowering skill used by many people to improve their communication skills. Despite a common misconception, almost everyone can benefit from learning to lip read. Using visual cues allows a person to fill in the blanks where they may not have heard exactly what has been said. Speech reading requires a person to be alert, focused, and willing to practice. Like any skill, speech reading, in particular, the lip reading component, takes practice. But if you have time and patience to dedicate to learning this skill, you will succeed. Next, I will go over the 7 easy steps to practicing good communication. Number 1, it is important to get the person's attention before talking to them. This will ensure that you have their full attention and that they are able to focus on what you are telling them. Some great ways to get a person's attention include a light tap on the arm, a quick wave, or flashing an overhead light where appropriate. You should also make sure that you are talking to the person and not talking away from them. Reducing or eliminating background noise is something that many people often forget. When you are in a very noisy area, it is hard for everyone to follow along with the conversation, not just people with hearing loss. This is why moving to a quieter area, improving the acoustics of a room, or installing noise absorbing materials can come in handy. Acoustic panels are one great way to reduce noise, and they are used in many workplaces. Shouting or exaggerating your speech does not help anyone. Oftentimes, this can make speech muffled or more difficult to understand. Next, repeat, rephrase, or write it down. If you have repeated yourself a few times, rewording what you are trying to say may work. Otherwise, text-to-speech apps such as Live Transcribe, Otter.ai, or Ava are all great alternatives as they translate spoken word into speech and allow the person with hearing loss to follow along. You should also be mindful of the communication needs of others. What works for one person might not work for another. Each person with hearing loss has different experiences as well as different ways of adapting. If you are unsure of what a person may need to participate, don't be afraid to ask. Use hearing assistive technology for yourself or others. Pocket talkers, hearing aids, or whatever other assistive technology is there for a reason. It can help a person understand in a variety of environments, and it must be used regularly in order to get the most benefit from it. Finally, it is important to remember that communication is a two-way street. You must work together in a conversation to improve. If you think you have hearing loss, learn all you can about hearing loss and the effects it may have on your lifestyle. To do this, you can find reputable online sources or reach out to Chanel for guidance. This can also be helpful in terms of finding the appropriate hearing assistive technology, as there are many options available to suit a variety of needs. Next, have a hearing test completed by a trained hearing care professional. These tests can be done by an audiologist privately or through public health. For individuals looking to have a hearing test, we offer a listing of all the locations province-wide that offer tests and screenings. This listing can be found on our website or by contacting us for more information. Next, find resources in your community to help you on your hearing loss journey. Not only will you be able to learn from the experiences of others, you can also share your wisdom and feel more connected to those who understand what you are going through. We are an excellent resource when looking for community involvement, and we offer everything from technology loans to resource groups. If you know someone who has hearing loss, step 1 is to be supportive, encouraging, and patient. Learn more about the effects of hearing loss as well as the impact it can have on the person's life, as well as your relationship with them. Focus on providing encouragement and positive thinking rather than blaming or getting frustrated with them for their hearing challenges. Step 2 is to become informed about hearing loss and recognize the limitations of hearing technology, as well as the impact that hearing loss will have on the person's ability to communicate. Know that some listening environments are challenging for people with hearing loss, and learn how to help them when this happens. Using the 7 steps to practicing good communication is one way that you can help the person if they are struggling to hear in a situation. Some key takeaways from this presentation include: number 1, hearing loss can affect anyone, and it is invisible. Hearing loss can affect anyone at any time and in many different ways. Just because you may not be able to see a person's hearing loss does not mean that it isn't there. Number 2, there are many different types and causes of hearing loss. Different types and causes of hearing loss will all sound different. These factors will impact the way a person's hearing loss will affect their life, and this can look very different for many different people. 3, technology and effective communication can help. Look into technology that works for your lifestyle and use the communication tips outlined in this presentation to help support you or people in your life on their hearing loss journey. Some more key takeaways from this presentation. Number 4, if you have hearing loss, become informed. Becoming informed about hearing loss and the effects it may have on your lifestyle from reputable sources can help you feel empowered about what you are experiencing. 5, if you know someone with hearing loss, become a supporter. Learn more about the effects of hearing loss and how it can impact the person's life, as well as their relationship with others. In doing so, you will likely be able to help them with their challenges and strengthen your relationship with the person who has hearing loss. Finally, we are here to help. We offer many different programs for individuals who live in Newfoundland and Labrador. I will go into more detail about these programs before the end of this presentation. Resources for individuals in Newfoundland and Labrador. We offer individualized hearing loss consultations, which involve meeting with one of our knowledgeable hearing loss support specialists to get information and resources about hearing loss. Our staff can help answer your questions about hearing loss and point you in the right direction when it comes to managing your hearing loss. These consultations are by appointment only, and they can be completed in person, by phone, by text, by email, or over a video calling service. The Hearing Assistive Technology Lending Program is a very popular program of ours province-wide. This program is a free program that allows individuals to borrow technology for a short period of time to ensure that it is right for them before deciding to purchase the technology. Some items offered in this program include pocket talkers and amplified telephones. In-community outreach is offered province-wide by our staff members and goes hand in hand with the learning opportunities we provide. We also offer hearing loss prevention and awareness for all ages. Some learning opportunities that we have include Read Our Lips, an online speech and lip reading course, presentations, displays, and webinars, which can be in person or virtual, as well as our website, www.chha-nl.ca. Many of our resources are listed on our website. For more information about our program, please visit our website, call us, email, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or visit our YouTube. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, please contact us. We can help you make your hearing health a priority.